Confusion reigned within her. Hadn't he just asked her to be his temporary maid? Why was he offering her slippers now? Before she could voice her thoughts, his voice broke through her reverie. Anything wrong? His inquiry snapped her back to reality, and she hurriedly composed herself. And nothing, she stammered, averting her gaze as she slipped her feet into the offered slippers. The warmth enveloped her feet comfortingly, though her thoughts remained tumultuous. All right, come along with me, pet, he directed, his steps leading her to the kitchen. As they walked, Eva's mind raced. This might be her opportunity. She anticipated that he might ask her to cook. Recollections of the disastrous reactions to her past culinary attempts churned within her mind. She clenched her fists behind her, a determination to rise to the occasion simmering beneath her outward calm. In the kitchen, a surprising scene unfolded. Gage's actions contradicted her expectations. Instead of enlisting her to cook, he motioned for her to sit. Perplexed, Eva obeyed, her confusion mirrored by the chaos in her mind. Why is he asking me to watch instead of cooking? Her inner turmoil only intensified as she observed him preparing a meal. Eva's gaze oscillated between the kitchen activities and her own befuddled thoughts. With a pinch between her brows, she tried to decipher his motivations. The incongruence of his actions baffled her, leaving her even more wary and suspicious. Soon enough, Gage's culinary endeavors concluded, presenting her with a steaming bowl of soup. The savory aroma tantalized her senses, her anticipation palpable. She caught herself salivating, hastily swallowing her excitement. Meeting Gage's gaze, she found him seated across from her, his smile inviting. Go on, dig in, it's perfect for your hangover, his soothing words accompanied a twinkle in his eyes. Eva's focus shifted from his enigmatic behavior to the dish before her. She gingerly lifted the utensils, her eyes never leaving him as she sipped the soup. Warmth cascaded through her, both from the broth and the weight of his gaze. He seemed to enjoy her scrutiny, commenting, "You watched me as if trying to solve an intricate puzzle while I was cooking. I'm sure you'd spot anything amiss." Eva cleared her throat, her grip on the utensils tightening. She inwardly urged herself to regain her composure. Her tension eased as she savored the first spoonful. The taste was nothing short of exquisite. Gage's inquiry pulled her from her reverie, his dazzling presence almost choking her. Her response was simple, "It's good." The meal continued, with Gage's attentiveness making her momentarily forget the oddity of their situation. He served her French toast, refocusing her thoughts. His actions veered into uncharted territory, prompting her suspicion to resurface. She met his gaze, her tone laced with humor but also underlying doubt. "You're not secretly a male witch, fattening me up to devour me, are you?" Eva's words dripped with suspicion, causing Gage to throw his head back in laughter. The sound was intoxicating, a symphony that ignited tingles in her ears and sent pleasure to her eyes. She berated herself internally, trying to regain her focus. "What if I am indeed a male witch, pet?" Gage's voice, laced with amusement, interrupted her internal monologue. He leaned back, resting his head on his knuckles as he regarded her. Eva's hand met her face comically as the realization of her blurted confession hit her. Embarrassment flushed her cheeks, and she wished for the ground to swallow her whole. Clearing her throat, she addressed him matter-of-factly, "Well, if you're indeed a male witch, I'd like you to help me find my phone. I can't remember where I left it, and I can't seem to find it no matter how hard I look." With a casual movement, he produced her phone from his pocket, presenting it to her with an outstretched arm. Her suspicions grew, but she hesitantly accepted the phone, flipping it open to check. As her phone powered up, it immediately started ringing and vibrating with a deluge of notifications, messages and calls she hadn't anticipated. Then her ringtone pierced the air, her secretary's call flashing on the screen. Eva stared at the screen for a moment, uncertain how to react. Casting a quick glance at Gage, she politely excused herself. "Sorry, I need to take this call." Gage's casual wave indicated his indifference to her conversation. "Yes, May." "What is?" Eva's sentence was abruptly cut off as her secretary erupted on the other end. "Ma'am, you finally answered your phone. Where are you? Have you seen the news? The frenzy it's causing on social media is insane." Eva's frown deepened. What news was her secretary referring to? "Slow down. What news are you talking about?" "My phone was off, so I haven't checked anything." May's exasperation was evident. "Boss, you announced your resignation last night, effective immediately. The media is buzzing about it." Eva's eyes widened at the revelation. Her anger surged to the surface, hot and fierce. "I never made such an announcement," she snapped, her voice like icy blades. "I know, boss, but rumors are already flying. They're saying you resigned due to fraud and misconduct. My phone is ringing off the hook with reporters trying to dig into this. Where are you? I can come get you. Eva's grip on her phone tightened, her knuckles paling. She ended the call abruptly, her gaze locking onto her inbox as she skimmed through the flood of messages. Her fingers trembled as she held her phone, and then, in her distress, it slipped from her hand, clattering to the floor. What happened? Gage's deep, sexy voice resonated as he bent to pick up the fallen phone. Eva, caught off guard, abruptly turned to face the wall, hiding her expression from him. Nothing. Please help me turn the phone off, she managed to utter in a small voice. Gage's gaze lingered on her for a moment, but he complied and turned off the phone. After he was done, his attention was diverted as his head snapped toward the threshold of the room. He spoke with a sense of urgency. I have an unwanted visitor, pet. You wait here. I'll be right back. As soon as Gage left, Eva let her frustration and anger flood her thoughts. Her mind raced with questions and resentment. She couldn't fathom the extent to which her adversaries were willing to go. Fueled by her emotions, she slammed her fist against the wall and swore under her breath, I will never forgive any one of you. The surge of anger propelled her out of the kitchen. As she stormed towards the living room, her steps hurried and determined, she was abruptly halted by the sight of Gage sitting calmly and gracefully in the same chair. Before her stood a man dressed in black, fine wire-framed glasses perched on his nose. Recognition struck Eva like a bolt of lightning. Wait, isn't that Mr. Park, the infamous secretary of Mr. Carlson, the CEO of Asians Enterprise? Sir, Master sent me here to ask you one last time. If you're still not interested in taking the CEO position for Asians, the chairman will give the position to someone else. Eva's surprise deepened as she processed the information. What? Wait, he's being offered the CEO position at Asians, my rival company. What's going on? Who is this man? Gage's response was nonchalant, his brow raised as he drawled, CEO, huh, but that's a lot of work, Mr. Park. Mr. Park, undeterred, tried to persuade Gage. You're the one who co-founded the company when you were younger. You and I know you can handle this position easily. Gage's smirk turned wicked as he stated his lack of interest. I've already lost interest in this project. If I become the CEO, I'll most likely cause the company's downfall. Lack of motivation is a serious flaw. The only thing I could gain is more money, but we both know how useless that is to me. Mr. Park's defeat was palpable as he tried to find reasons to convince Gage. The master thought that maybe you're bored now and might want to work hard again. Gage teased, I'd be bored to death if I actually took on that position, Mr. Park. As the conversation continued, Eva's curiosity got the best of her. She couldn't resist intervening. Wait. Her voice echoed in the room, cutting through their discussion. Startled, Mr. Park's head snapped toward her. Oblivious to Gage's expression, Eva's focus was solely on Mr. Park. Gathering her determination, she strode toward them purposefully. Miss Young, what are you doing here? Mr. Park stammered, taken aback by her presence. Gage's explanation was simple, she's my guest. His explanation heightened Eva's confusion. Their relationship was far from clear, and Eva felt like she was caught in a whirlwind of unexpected events. Eva addressed Mr. Park, determination in her voice. Please wait a moment, Mr. Park. We'll be back in a while. Without waiting for his response, she grabbed Gage's hand and pulled him back into the kitchen. Eva stared intently at Gage, taking a deep breath before she spoke, her eyes narrowed with determination. Are you really going to reject that offer? Her words were laced with both curiosity and a touch of desperation. Gage responded with a lopsided smile, a glint of mischief in his eyes. Let's just say, I'm pretty lazy, pet. He playfully winked. I don't plan on spending my bachelor's life chained to a desk, working day and night just to accumulate more money I don't even need. I'm already a filthy rich heir, and my investments are already taking care of me, so, I'm officially retiring. Eva's frustration bubbled inside her. Arrogant bastard, she inwardly cursed, finding his attitude infuriating. Despite his seemingly honest response, she couldn't help but want to, ugh. She shook her head, forcing herself to stay focused. Her gaze turned serious as she addressed him with unwavering determination. Then hire me. Her voice carried a hint of desperation, but her blue eyes blazed with confidence. I may not be a familiar name to you, but I am the former CEO of XY Corporation. Hire me, and I promise I'll bring ASEAN to the top again, crushing XY Corporation in the process. Gage's eyebrow arched, his expression mildly intrigued. So, you're the female CEO who made XY overtake ASEAN, Yes, that's me. So hire me. I promise I can deliver on my words, Eva replied assertively, her eyes reflecting her determination. Gage rubbed his chin, his gaze scrutinizing Eva as if trying to read her intentions. I know the chairman and the board won't accept me, considering I was the CEO of their competitor. Even though I'm the ex-CEO now, they won't be willing to hire me, especially with the rumors. Eva's words faltered for a moment, but she quickly regained her composure. That's why you should take the position and then hire me to do the work for you. You mentioned being lazy, right? I don't mind. You can make appearances for meetings while I handle the rest. We'll work together to crush XY Corporation. Gage hummed thoughtfully, still rubbing his chin. You really want to do all the work while staying in the shadows? You won't get recognition that way. I don't care about recognition. All I want is revenge. I'll make them regret every wrong they've done to me. I told you, I'm willing to do anything to get back at them. I want them to feel the pain of losing something they value. And this is just the beginning. I intend to pay them back for their care with interest. Eva's eyes blazed with fury as she spoke, her resolve firm and unwavering. Gage's gaze remained fixed on her, assessing her with interest. I'm serious. I told you, I'd even make a deal with the devil if needed, Eva hissed, her eyes ablaze with determination. You did say that, didn't you? You said you're ready to sell your soul to the devil, Gage commented, a peculiar glint in his eyes. Yes, Eva affirmed firmly, if that's what it takes. Gage nodded slowly, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. He leaned against the wall, still watching her intently. All right, let's make a deal then, pet. I'll give you what you want. Everything you desire. Eva felt a wave of relief wash over her as he seemingly accepted her proposal. However, Gage's tone changed, his expression growing more serious. Are you absolutely certain you're willing to pay any price in exchange, pet? Eva nodded vigorously, her determination unshaken. Yes, anything. Gage's smile deepened, and he crossed his arms. Are you really, truly sure? I am sure, Mr. Acheron. Eva's words were emphatic, each syllable carrying her determination. He sighed, then leaned in, his lips hovering near her ear. How about, Gage, darling? Eva's mouth dropped open, a mix of surprise and embarrassment flooding her. She stammered before regaining her composure. Will you please stop? I'm serious here. Please stop distracting me. All right, now that you seem a bit more relaxed, Gage commented nonchalantly, leaning against the wall again. Just as Eva thought they were back on track, he rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Eva's glare intensified, and Gage chuckled briefly before his demeanor turned serious once more. All right, then. Let's get back to business. I'm about to state the price of this bargain. Eva waited with a mix of nervousness and anticipation, bracing herself for the revelation of what he would demand in exchange for granting her request. As Gage's dark gaze bore into Eva's eyes, her heart raced even faster. She had mentally prepared herself for the worst, knowing that making deals with devils always came with a steep price. She understood that in this world, if you wanted something significant, you had to be willing to sacrifice something significant in return. She was well aware that in striking a bargain with a devil, things rarely turned out as planned, except for getting the one thing you bargained for. As Gage began to speak, "Marry me," his words resounded in the air, causing Eva's mind to screech to a halt. Her mental brakes slammed on, and she could almost hear the sound of tires skidding inside her head. What? Wait, what? Her words stumbled out in a flustered manner. You're not trolling me, are you? Eva squinted at him, her suspicion apparent. I'm not trolling you, Eva, Gage responded with a serious expression. You seriously want to marry me? Why? Eva's voice trembled with disbelief. Gage tilted his head slightly, his lips curving into a half-smile. Isn't the answer to that obvious? You want a wife. Need a wife, Gage corrected her. Eva pressed her temples, her mind racing to make sense of this unexpected turn of events. Wait, are you doing this for show? Marry me and then divorce me once you've achieved whatever you want from it, is that it? A rush of thoughts flooded her mind, each one a plausible explanation. Gage tilted his head slightly once more, his nod a subtle acknowledgement that Eva didn't catch the nuances of. But, why? Eva's voice wavered, her confusion deepening. Why would he choose her? She was an unwanted nobody, her name tarnished further by ongoing rumors. Maybe he sees value in you, her inner voice suggested. You have skills, a competitive spirit. You're the ideal candidate for the work he's avoiding. That makes sense, Eva thought, considering the possibility. Or maybe, her mind continued, he knows you won't cling to him. You'd likely sign divorce papers without fuss once you achieve your goals. Eva's gaze bore into Gage's as she deliberated these thoughts. While he hadn't wronged her, she couldn't dismiss the possibility that his motives were not entirely pure. Her inner turmoil continued as she analyzed the situation. Are you, really sure? Eva finally asked, her heart still in turmoil. Why, do you think you're not worthy of marrying a handsome man like me? Gage's smirk was playful, and Eva resisted the urge to smack him again. Of course not, Eva retorted. I think you'd be lucky to marry someone like me. Her chin lifted defiantly, and Gage chuckled in response. Not bad, pet. So is that a yes? Eva's mind spun as she tried to process everything. Wait a moment, shouldn't we take more time to think this over? We should discuss our conditions, right? You must have your own conditions for this arrangement. I need to know them all before making a final decision. Smart girl, Gage acknowledged, nodding in agreement. However, I need to inform Mr. Park of my decision now. If I let him leave without an answer. No, wait, I'll accept now. I can't simply take your word, pet. What if you change your mind after I've agreed? Gage raised an eyebrow, maintaining his caution. I won't change my mind. How about we sign a contract first? Not a marriage contract. For now, a formal agreement for our deal. Gage agreed with a nod. That sounds reasonable, pet. Good idea. Without delay, he retrieved his phone and made a call to arrange the contract. Wait here, pet. I'll talk to Mr. Park briefly to keep him occupied while we finalize the contract. You can use this time to reconsider your decision. Once you sign, there's no turning back. As he walked past her, he paused and leaned in, whispering in her ear, I'm giving you one last chance to back out, Eva.